Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Leo's Harmony, and today we're actually going to look at your gifts. This reading is something that I've wanted to do for a while, and just the other day I've had, many encounters with spiders, and I haven't really seen them for years, maybe, and this is kind of how I knew the time was kind of right for it. Um, so spiders, if you kind of look them up, they also symbolize that you're kind of doing everything right and you're like following your path, you're following your journey, and they're also weavers, so they're more tied to fate. So we have three different piles here, and you can go ahead and pick one, and then we can get started with your reading and look at your gifts and how that's kind of like affecting you and like how that kind of plays into your fate. So I'll give you some time to do that, and then we can go ahead and get started. Okay, pile one. So this first oracle card, the ones that I made you guys pick, is based on crystals, and you got fulgurite. And it says challenge here, and it also says lightning and the number 5. So let's pull on some oracle cards, and then we can probably get more information about how this ties into your gifts. So the first deck that I kind of want to use is from Rebecca Campbell. She has one called the Starseed Oracle, and I thought that that was good for this reading. So let's pull some cards from that. The first card you got is called the Great Severing, and it says Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. Let's maybe get another one. This one says big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary and inspired ideas. Now I also wanted to pull a few cards from an astrology deck that I have. So let's see if we can get any information from that. Yep. You got the 6th house. And let's see if we can get one more from this deck as well. You also got the 5th house. Let me try to move these here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, the camera was trying to run away from me a bit. But let's pull some cards that will show your actual gifts and how this kind of relates to everything. You got Life Path 1. Indigo Child. Life Path 5. Maybe let's do one more. chakra healer. Okay, so you got a lot of really good cards here. One thing that I kind of noticed right off the bat is that you have 5, 5, and 5. So that might be like a number that you're seeing a lot. And maybe that's extra confirmation for you that this is the right reading. Um, the fifth house kind of deals with um, it's kind of like associated with you and like what you like and romance and pleasure and the way that you kind of express yourself. Um, with life path 5, this is more about people who kind of like want freedom and like they really do like an adventure in life. And you love to travel and maybe meet new people. With life path 1, this is someone who says it's the pioneer here. So someone who's really goal oriented and kind of like starts things. It's kind of like Aries energy, right? And then with the sixth house, it's more about like work and health and daily routines and like how you kind of help other people in some way. Indigo child is a weird one, I would say. You can possibly be born within this time frame here, 1988 to 1998. If not, then maybe you just have traits uh of this type of people, right? So there are people who are kind of like supernatural or um they have they're like really evolved in some way. So you also got chakra healer here. And what this is kind of telling me is that you're a healer. And it's something that you should be doing with work if you're not doing it already. It's something that'll kind of bring you joy, and it's possibly something that you may even have as like your own type of job, like you being your own boss rather than relying on other people. So that's a possibility for you. Um, so with the Mars energy here and the big picture thinking oracle card, it's kind of like with inspired ideas, I think you kind of those just really come to you. Like maybe you kind of instinctively know how to heal people and it's something that just kind of comes to you. And maybe you even transmute anger into love in some way, and that kind of helps you heal people as well. So it's kind of like with the challenge card here, um, you pretty much find a way to transmute something really challenging into something very positive, and then that's a really beautiful thing here. And it is part of like you kind of healing and balancing chakras. So that in itself is the way that you kind of heal other people, and that's part of your ability here. Um, so let's pull some tarot cards actually, and maybe that'll give us some information. I'll try to move stuff around here if I can, but I'll be right back. Okay, pile one, welcome back. These are the tarot cards that I pulled for you. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, Two of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Empress. So with the Six of Pentacles, it's kind of like you give so much to people. And I think it's so rewarding for you, and I think it kind of just confirms the type of person that you are. You are someone who like really likes to make people feel nice and like loved and everything, but with the Five of Pentacles here, it's kind of like maybe you do it a little too well to the point where you kind of like not love yourself enough. And with the Two of Cups here, although it is a card that kind of represents like love and something that's really nice and everything like that, I think it's more of like a card that's telling you how you kind of need to balance that. Like find a balance between giving and taking, right? So you should still give, of course, like heal people. That is your gift, that is your purpose in life. but also make sure to not give away too much and be grateful to the gift that you have, but don't give it all away. And you should fill your own cup as well in some way. So maybe that can be a form of like taking breaks or doing things that you love, um, and making sure that you feel right, with everything. With the Hierophant and the Empress, it just kind of confirms that you're like this being of like light, you know? You're someone who's so giving, you're so like loving to people. And I think that although is nice, that you really need to be careful here with the Five of Pentacles. Maybe you're giving too much away. So that is something for you to kind of look for, right? People who have like really good energy oftentimes are taken advantage of, and they're not treated correctly sometimes because energy vampires sometimes like notice that and they kind of just fall into their life. So maybe that is something to look out for. um with the this anger thing that you kind of turn into light, I think that's a really big part of your gift. But that is something that you should also look at within yourself. um with the chakra healer here, sorry, there's cards in the way. um it also mentions balancing actually, so that's kind of funny. Make sure that you also protect your own energy, right? You need to cleanse yourself, you need to balance yourself the same way that you are doing to other people. But it is part of your gift to kind of heal other people, and that is something that you should be doing. um, but not to the point where you kind of hurt yourself. There should be a balance to that. Let's see if there's any other card that I can pull. I'm gonna pull from the Starseed Oracle again, since Indigo Child came up for your reading, and I think that'll be the end of your reading here once we get that card. This one says, all paths lead to home. Inner authority, intuition, and turn your gaze within. So I think this kind of just confirms, right, the need to have an inner authority, to use your intuition. Um, you know when things are going well and you're doing the right thing here because you kind of have this gift of like knowing how to heal people and how to like actually transmute the anger or that conflict that they're feeling into something more related to love. And but you should also have that inner authority to know when to stop, when to take a break, when to heal yourself and have something nice for yourself. And I think this card is really just confirming that here. So I do think you're a pile that is such like a light in the world, but you really need to be careful about being taken advantage of, and also healing others to your detriment, and making sure that you need to fill your own cup as well. So yeah, pile one, thank you for joining. I do think you have a really lovely gift here, and I think you are a really powerful healer as well. But thank you for watching, and if you did like the reading, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you did want a personalized reading, the Etsy is linked down below. Thank you for watching. Hi, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. The cards that I made you guys choose in the beginning are actually crystals, and you got green calcite for your crystal. You got mountain, and you also got retreat here, so maybe your gift is related to something about the earth. But let's pull a few oracle cards here, and maybe that'll give us more information. We just move this. The first card that you got is Lost Lands. So memories and gifts. You've done this before. Interesting how it talks about lost lands and you also got the mountain there. I don't think you can see that. There you go. You got the mountain there. So I think that's really a hint there as well. Your next card, you got the love. Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. So it could be that potentially you maybe like bound your gift. That could be for some people here. Maybe in your past life you didn't something happened with your gift potentially that maybe you just kind of bound it and you don't really remember it much, and it's kind of like your job in this life to kind of have that unraveled, right? And kind of take that back. I also have some astrology cards here. So let's get some more information. You got the seventh house. You got Taurus. Let's do one more. Sorry, that one kind of fell. You got full moon. Okay. So Taurus is also, like an earth sign. So it's interesting how that's kind of all aligning here. Let's pull some cards that talk about your actual gift. Let's just move that. So you got Facebook. You got master number 22. These just kind of fell. Demonologist. And you got ascension number 8. That's really interesting. Maybe you... Hmm. Maybe you, like I said, had a gift here that kind of got locked away, but it's interesting how demonologist kind of came up. Ascension number 8 and 22 also came up in architect and mental plane. Maybe it was too much for you mentally and you weren't ready for that, so uh you kind of locked it away, or kind of like maybe ignored your gift. Maybe in a past life you actually were someone who kind of cleansed and banished demons and from like places or people. And with the architect here and mental plane, it's kind of like you really had to be careful with dealing with this, right? And you had to like make sure that you were cleansed all the time, you were protected, and You had to make the right boundaries, right? That also came up. With the architect, it's kind of like you kind of planned everything that you needed to. Maybe it's something that you even had a following for in the past life, or well, maybe it's something you can even have a following for now. Even though it does say like Facebook, maybe it's something about like posting or like having a public image of this, right? So your gift is kind of public and it's something that you would be known for. With the full moon, that can talk about a completion, but the moon also deals with emotions. Taurus is also very about the earth and having a balance. I did forget what the seventh house is about, so let me look that up. So it says the seventh house is generally connected with the sign Libra, and it's a house of relationships and partnerships, actually. So this can be business, it can be marriages, enemies, contracts, anything like that. So maybe you did this with someone else in a past life, maybe, or this life, if that kind of calls out to you. Is that why you kind of locked this away? Like maybe things didn't work out with them? But I think it's kind of like telling you, I think it's time for you to do this, right? To kind of like go back to this and learn how to like cleanse properly. Like not just people, but like places. You kind of get rid of like any negative spirits, any negative entities, anything like that. Because this card here is saying that you've done it before, you have the memories and the gifts, but it's just lost, right? It's kind of like you kept it from like coming out. And with the mountain, you also got retreat. So maybe like it's something that you just kind of like threw away and forgot about. Um, and with the boundaries here, oh, maybe you were being codependent with this other person or this job that you had. Maybe it didn't work out. Let's pull some tarot. I'll be right back. I'll try to make some space here and maybe that'll give us more information. Okay, so you got death here. You got the Queen of Swords, King of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Queen of Wands, and Judgment. I also took the liberty of like reading up more about Ascension number 8 and Master number 22. So number 22 is more about like leadership, and number 8 actually is a little bit biblical. Um, and it's someone who's very like in tune, but like it also talks about rebirth. And rebirth is actually something that's kind of related to the death card here. I think your guides are trying to tell you that it is something that's kind of like meant for you to do now, right? With judgment here, this also kind of talks about rebirth, and um, it's a gift that you probably have hidden right now, but it's something that you can do, and it's something that they want you to do actually. With the Queen of Swords and King of Pentacles, it's something that can make you money, but also something that can kind of help you mentally as well. I don't think it's like a really bad thing that you're kind of dealing with this. But I think it has hurt you, if not in the past, but maybe like a past life. And maybe it's something that really didn't work out for you. But I don't think you pretty much have that negativity associated with it in this life. Because with the Queen of Wands and Judgment here, it's kind of like it's a passion that you might have here that you later find out. But also, I think you're so protected this time. And maybe it's time for you to like, it's something for you to look back on actually. Because if it didn't work out for you, maybe you learn from those mistakes and you don't do them again. Maybe that's the reason that you locked them away in the first place in a past life. Or if this was something that was earlier in life for you, maybe that's why you didn't um like really deal with this, because it is something that hurt you, but I think you're so protected now and you're much more mature. You've learned, and it is something that you can do easily. And I think it can bring you money, but it could also bring you um, fulfillment, like in your mind, in earthly type of attachment stuff, and also your passions. Let's pull one final oracle card from the Starseed Oracle deck, and that can close off the reading for us. Oh, that card kind of fell. So you got the baby steps card. It says action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. So maybe it is something that you're avoiding, but they're kind of telling you like, hey, you need to go ahead and start. It's something that maybe you're scared of even because of the Three of Swords, but your guides are telling you like it's okay. Like you know this is something that you're meant to do, but you don't want to. And maybe you don't make sense of it, and maybe you don't understand it because it's kind of locked away, but it's time for you to start. And that's what your guides are telling you. So I don't think there's any worry because your guides are kind of guiding you towards this. And you know, they're never going to let you down. They're going to protect you. They're going to make sure you do everything right and make sure that you learn everything that you need to before you start. But I think you have already, and it's time for you to start that. So that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you for watching. If you did like this reading, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like a personalized reading, make sure to check my Etsy link down below. Thank you for watching. Hi, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. The cards that I made you choose in the beginning are actually crystals. And for you, you got Amethyst Celestial, you got Soul Awakening in this card, and it says Medicine Pouch. So maybe your gift has to do with some type of healing. And we'll pull some oracle cards here to kind of take a look and get a full picture. It says trust the timing, trust the way you came in on. Time is not running out. It says the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Maybe this is something that you um, are receiving as a gift rather than something that you already have. Maybe it's something that, or for some of you, potentially it's just dormant, and your guides are kind of pushing you to kind of like unlock that and have that, you know, come out. And I think there's a part of you that's like, oh, am I ever going to like have a gift in life? And your guides are kind of like, yeah, you know, you will. Calm down. We're just making sure the timing is right, and you know, it's never too late to do anything. And with Cosmic Heart, maybe it's more involved with some type of prayer, and that doesn't necessarily have to be in a religious way, right? You can have prayer in a way that's uh like more spiritual as well, for those of you that are not very religious. Let's pull some oracle cards here actually. I have an astrology deck that might give us more information. You got Mars. You got Uranus. And you got Saturn return. Now let's pull from another deck. Excuse me. That might actually talk about your gifts. So let's go ahead and do that. Yep. These kind of fell off. So, Shaman. Life path number 5. Indigo Child. Clairsentience. And this one kind of fell out. Empath. Okay, so it seems like with the prayer thing here, maybe you kind of are meant to be like a shaman. With the Peacemaker in Life Path number 5. Ruling planet Mars, actually. And you got the Mars card here. It's kind of like you were made to be like a shaman, right? And bring peace into the world. And shamans look a lot into the earth. Um, so maybe you're really connected to the earth. Indigo Child is a group of people who are usually kind of they have special gifts, and I'm not really familiar with like all of their gifts, but they are you can potentially be born in this generation as well. 1968 through 1978, but if not, maybe you just have the characteristics of like a person that has that those type of abilities. You got clairsentience, which I think is important. It's like feeling, so that's important with like a shaman. And you got empath, which is someone who kind of feels like other people's emotions, which is also I think very important for a shaman. So maybe there's a lot for you to kind of do here in terms of like a learning, because with Saturn return and Uranus, it's kind of something unexpected and like growth for you. Um, maybe it's not something that you're really doing right now or kind of know, but it is part of your soul awakening, which is interesting because a Saturn return, I guess you can kind of relate that to a soul awakening. And that kind of came up 2 times, right? And it's not something that's like too late to kind of learn. It's something that your guides are saying, it's fine. Like we can kind of help you with that. And the prayer thing again involved with the shaman um, is it's just more confirmation, I think, on their end. So it's really pretty much everything's kind of tying to this card here about being a shaman, and like you're kind of meant to not only like work with the earth but also heal and do whatever your guides are kind of telling you to do here. There's shamans that usually only practice for themselves and they don't really necessarily have to help other people, but there are some that actually help others. I don't think like you're really meant to help other people as much, but you kind of are meant to create and follow like this life of like peace and just kind of work with your abilities, because there really is no mention of like working with other people a whole lot here. Let me see if I can pull one more Starseed Oracle. Maybe that'll give us information. It says, I'm sorry. It says defenselessness, riding past wrongs, and uprooting. So maybe this journey is meant for you to be something that you're doing as a way to make amends for your past. Or maybe it's something that you kind of did wrong in a past life that got brought into this life. And this is kind of meant for you as a, like, oh, I'm gonna work on myself, I'm gonna do better. And like, I think this shaman journey here is really meant for you to like kind of heal your karmic debt that you have. So let's pull some tarot cards and maybe that'll give us some information. I'll be right back. Okay, I do apologize for everything being kind of squished here, but I try to like make everything visible. So, oh, looks like I maybe messed this one up a bit. There. It's a little bit more legible. Okay, that's fine. So with the Hermit, it kind of is, I think I was right about this whole, you not really needing to work with other people as much. Um, that card kind of confirms like the need to kind of be alone or kind of work for yourself or kind of do this for you rather than for other people. With the Chariot, it's something that's maybe happening pretty quickly for you, maybe even something that you have to decide. And with the Eight of Cups here, it's kind of like you're pouring back for yourself, right? You're kind of um, wanting to do things more for you rather than for other people. And with the Eight of Pentacles here, it's kind of like you're kind of collecting these, like coins and making sure that, yeah, this is kind of like for me, right? And then the King of Cups here, it's kind of saying like, yep, I'm pretty satisfied now. That's kind of like maybe, again, maybe you did something wrong in the past and it's kind of like a way for you to kind of make amends for that. But also in a way you're kind of healing yourself by kind of working by yourself. Maybe you never took the time to kind of really think about certain stuff that you're meant to think about or heal what you weren't healing before. And with this whole shaman card here, it's kind of confirming that, hey, you are meant to kind of work on this, you're meant to heal yourself through this type of practice as well. And it's kind of meant to help you. So I don't think this gift is kind of like for other people. It's not something for you to really share, but it's kind of meant for you. And I think you guys are pretty clear on that. But let me pull one more from the Starseed Oracle and kind of close out your reading since this one was very straightforward. Let's see if we can get a closing statement. Oop. This one says wait. It says it's not yet time, things are being woven. Interesting how you got wait, but also got trust the timing, and time is not running out. So maybe for some of you, um, it's something that you'll start in the future rather than now. And maybe there's a decision that you have to make first. Let's do one more. This one says Earth. Learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Again, so kind of like this whole shaman thing, right? And it's kind of like you're learning how to be yourself again with this, like with the Eight of Cups here too. But it's like with the hermit thing, it's like you're kind of meant to be alone and doing this. It's not really something to share. And it's kind of interesting here because it's like start this but also wait. So that's a little strange. But for some of you, maybe it is a thing that you kind of have to wait on. And it's a thing that your guides will send you a sign about. But I think it is time to like start this whole journey of like healing. Um, since it is like a soul awakening and Saturn return. If you are having a Saturn return, maybe that's the time when you have to start it. And that's the like when you have to wait. But if not, then maybe when you do feel like you have, a soul awakening, that is the time to start and ask your guides like when the time is right. So I hope that was a little clear. But thank you for watching Pile 3. If you did like the reading, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for joining, and if you would like a personalized reading, it's on the Etsy, link down below in the description. Thank you for watching.